one's ever really tired at all.
What is tired then?
It's the mind telling the body at this perceptional time on a linear clock, this is going to be the reaction. So the mind's going to engage with the body principle. Now, if we turn off the mind, the sleep hours, besides letting the intervertebral disc between the vertebrae begin to restore themselves and refill themselves, will take place in less than 4.5 linear moments. With the mind not engaged, that's more than enough rest for the body. And then the other part has a lot to do with the vibratory levels of the physicality. And when the mind level is disengaged, the body's already soaring off the planet anyways, from an integrated state, a grounded state, and an amplificational state.
Right, and what's happening when our mind is engaged?
Well, then we're going to get wrapped up with all this going on on the whole planetary matrix, and the me, and take care of this, take care of that, take care of that, take care of this, and all that plays out there that's being absorbed into the body principle. The head level started running, and setting up all these, some more conscious than others, but all these assumptions of what's going to take place, how it's going to take place, and the alignments that are going to take place before it's ever began the day. And that's where it begins more of a breakdown and sluggishness and tumultuousness than it is, hey man, bring it on, show me what's going to present.
We just kind of keep going with them. And the fact that, tonight I'm just going to sleep 3 hours, and I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with myself for the other 5 hours.
But that's the funnest part, gorgeous. Because that's the funnest part, because you're going to get up and play with the star systems, and you'll start to play around in your clarity, because you're no longer ran by repetitive patterning by any means. You'll start to find even so much more openness, and also the physicality opening up, expanding exponential over time, including, playing with the rest of your true family all around you. But see, if you look around, even up into the atmospheric realms, the astral planes of consciousness, you'll find that there's nothing but pristine purity, because your astral planes of consciousness are completely cleared out, and the mass consciousness and those little particles of thought forms are completely dissolved back to pure consciousness once again. They have absolutely no power anymore, and your clarity is more pristine, your body is more pristine, your mind level is completely pristine. It's not, hijacking here or there or the otherwise. There's not the engagement of battling it. The egoic structure completely doesn't exist, because everything's disengaged, because it's not real anyways. Any way you look at it, it's just a conglomerate of assumptions, judgments, and belief systems, which are no more different than judgments, that have been so ingrained with all the emotional states and the emotional energy underneath, and you as creator that have deemed it so to be a reality that has completely infused it with life.
Right.
Because it's not you, but they are live deities that have been bought into, assumptions made, and judgments made as well. Some on purpose, some by default. But where it's all dissolved anyways.
So we're leaping from sleep to health symptoms.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to check in on the health symptoms, because again, it seems to me that it's sort of like we start to buy in, or we identify with our symptoms. I mean, in a very pragmatic way. What does it take to transcend those symptoms?
Well, you begin to go right into them for a moment, because for every dear brother on the planet, the symptoms are going to be very diverse. It's only what's going to get their own attention. So let's just tune into the symptoms real quick. This time, let's not let it have any agitation, frustration, all the colorful stuff that only feeds it anyways. So let's go ahead and go right into the symptoms, and right through your body principle, all the way down to ones that are having financial issues, all kinds of fun things. Let's just question it for a moment. Dear brother, what's going on here? What are you really about? Because you're not welcome here. I honor that you are here. But what are you about? For some, it's going to be about relationships. Some is going to be about being on edge, uncomfortable within your own physicality, and plus all the changes that are wanting to be made to the physicality. Some are going to be more about rigidity from a tiny little focal point of how we should be, must be, what we should do, must do, right. What we have to do. No more different than having the lacerations into submission. And then other symptoms are, and I'm tuning to each and every one on the line right now, about rebelling, creating distance, and last and foremost, a reason to take a week off of the Job scenario, a reason why not to do things we really aren't called to do, but we're supposed to do. And so let's just listen to the symptom for a moment. Let's just let all of it share itself and show itself. Most importantly, what we get the great honor to play with is exposing it. Because now, it doesn't have that power. But when you really get to play with it, it really exposes it so brilliantly, so pricelessly. But we can make it about humor because it really is that humorous because it has absolutely nothing to do with you. Why don't we just ask it where it came from? But I have one favor to ask. Let's not make it about you. Let's not feed it. Literally, because I want to make a promise. It absolutely did not come from you. It was taught. It was handed over. Yeah, because even judgment was taught. Because it was a level of survival. Because when you first pick up the physicality, now even when you got your own physicality, the karmic resistance is all of it anyways. Let's really ask it. Show me. Where'd you come from? And for everyone, it has no choice but to answer. It's your body, it's your life stream, it's your it's your mind, it's your consciousness. It has no choice. It has no other option. We're exposing it. And what does it have to share? Why don't we just be clear that, guys, I honor where you're coming from. I love you dearly, but, this isn't about me any longer. Never really was. And, I'm just not willing to accept this any longer. Let's just hand it back over and let them be free about their own journey. Because you're taught so to the opposite. Because remember, you're supposed to take wisdom from the elders and all this fun stuff, which is a huge, another perception in itself. One thing is taught that it's all about you, and we got to come to terms with it, look it in the eyes, release it, process it, all this colorful stuff. But the part that isn't taught is exposure. None of these symptoms, whether it's abundance, whether it's monad conflicts, personality conflicts, relationship conflicts, on and on, because I still have to chuckle about the personality thing. It's just another word for taught behavioral mannerisms, okay, of likes, dislikes, and all the fun stuff. But when you look at it right in the eyes for a moment, and you command that it expose itself, there's no power that's fueling it anymore. Because we weren't playing in space and time. We were playing beyond space and time. We were playing with your eternal presence and eternity itself. See, these deities have been floating around, and that's why I wanted you to listen for a moment. To really tune into, for one, but as you exposed it, you could hear everything going on around. And that goes beyond just a process. If you don't want it, you don't want it. Because it's not you, for one. But for two, we're definitely not letting it have power over you and run you. Because now, when we're playing through the world, with all the brilliant, brilliant opportunities, the brilliant gifts that are right in front of us, and you get to reclaim yourself.